I never saw her like that before. Not with him. The two of them laughing, touching, smiling right in front of my eyes. It was a scene so sickeningly intimate that I felt like I was choking on my own breath. I stood there, frozen, as she wrapped her arms around him, her lips brushing against his ear, whispering things that should have only been for me. I guess I should have seen the signs. The late nights at the office, the sudden interest in her appearance, the way she began putting on more makeup, not for me, but for someone else. But I never wanted to believe it. I always thought, she's my wife. She's loyal. She loves me. We had been together for almost 8 years that felt like a lifetime to me. We had a home, a son, a life that I thought was unshakable. But that was before I found out about the affair. Her name was Emily. Beautiful, smart, and charming. To the outside world, she was everything a man could want. To me, she was my perfect match. But perfection is a lie, and I was starting to realize that too late. It all began one evening when I was supposed to surprise her. I came home early, thinking I'd catch her before she went out to her usual girls' night with friends. I should have known better. The moment I opened the door, I heard voices that weren't hers. At first, I thought it was just the TV, but then I heard the unmistakable sound of a man's laugh. It wasn't a sound I'd ever heard in my house. I followed the sound, my heart hammering in my chest, the anger slowly rising, mixing with confusion. I peeked around the corner. There she was. Emily. And there he was. Michael, her coworker. They were sitting on the couch, too comfortable, too close. I could hear their conversation. At first, I wanted to believe it was innocent. But the way she looked at him, the way her body was leaning into his, something inside me snapped. Do you think he suspects anything? Michael asked, voice low, almost conspiratorial. Emily laughed, and the sound made me want to vomit. No. He's such a fool. I've got him wrapped around my finger. I didn't know if it was the shock, the betrayal, or the overwhelming feeling of being gutted, but in that moment, I felt my entire world collapse. I backed away quietly, the need to flee overpowering. I wasn't sure if I was running from the truth or from my own anger. The house felt suffocating. My house. My sanctuary. It had become a cage. For the next few days, I acted as though nothing had changed. I played the part of the oblivious husband. I went to work, I came home, I pretended that everything was normal. But inside, I was unraveling. Every time I looked at Emily, I felt my stomach twist with disgust. Every kiss, every touch an insult. But I couldn't confront her yet. I wasn't ready to let her see how much power she had over me. I knew I had to get proof. I needed something concrete to confront her with, something undeniable. I started following her. I took sick days from work just to see where she went when she went out with friends. I gathered every shred of evidence I could. The text messages, the late night phone calls, the way Michael always accidentally appeared when we were at family gatherings. I felt like a detective, but instead of solving a crime, I was unraveling the life I had built. Each piece of the puzzle shattered something deep inside me. I didn't want to believe it, but the evidence was undeniable. And with every moment, the anger built. I couldn't let it fester forever. I had to take control. I had to show her she couldn't get away with it. One night, I followed Emily to a hotel. It was a small, rundown place, the kind that smelled of bleach and regret. I parked across the street and waited. Time moved in strange, slow motion, each second stretching out longer than the last. But I didn't move. I couldn't. I was waiting for her to make her move. 2 hours later, Emily came out, laughing with Michael. I could see the glow in her eyes, the same glow she used to have when she'd look at me. It made me sick. I could have stormed over to them, shouted at her, but I knew that wouldn't work. I needed something bigger, something more powerful. So, I followed them again, not revealing myself. I spent the next week tracking every little thing, every movement they made. They were careless, like they thought no one was watching. The last piece fell into place when I discovered the phone. The burner phone. The one that Emily had been using to text Michael. I waited until she left for a meeting, then I went through it. Every message, every conversation, every lie. There it was in black and white. I can't wait to see you tonight. Let's be careful. I don't want him to find out yet. And worst of all, I love you. She loved him. And I couldn't let her get away with it. I began planning, and it was a slow burn. I made sure Emily never suspected anything. I went on with life as usual. I started spending more time with our son, James, who was 8. He hadn't noticed anything yet, thank God. I didn't want him to see the ugliness, the destruction, that was happening in our house. Then, the perfect opportunity presented itself. Emily's birthday was coming up, and she was planning a big dinner with friends and family. She'd invited Michael. I knew this would be my moment. I rented a projector and set up a surprise for her that no one could have expected. The night of the party, Emily was radiant, glowing in the attention, unaware that the trap I'd set was about to close. Everyone was chatting, laughing, drinking wine. As the night wore on, I stood up, made a toast, and everyone quieted down. Tonight, I began, I have a surprise for Emily. I motioned to the projector, and everyone turned to watch. This is for you, Emily. A little look back at our time together. The first slide showed pictures of us our wedding day, birthdays, anniversaries. It was all sweetness, memories, love. But then, I switched to the next slide. There she was. With Michael. Laughing, kissing, the intimate moments they had shared. The messages, the hotel room, everything. It all flashed across the screen, revealing her betrayal for everyone to see. The room was dead silent. The shock was palpable. Emily's face drained of color, her eyes wide with disbelief. What is this? She stammered, her voice cracking. This, Emily, is the truth, I said coldly. The truth you thought you could hide. But now, everyone knows. The silence was deafening. Everyone turned to look at her, some in disgust, others in sympathy, but none of them looked at her the same way. Her perfect facade had crumbled, and I stood there, watching as it fell apart. She turned to me, her face twisted in anger, her voice trembling with panic. You had no right. You had no right to do this. I didn't flinch. I didn't apologize. I had every right. You thought I was a fool. You thought I wouldn't see. But I saw it all. Every lie. Every smile that wasn't meant for me. Her eyes welled with tears, but there was no sympathy in my heart. Not anymore. You betrayed me, Emily. You betrayed our family. She shook her head, trying to save herself. I love you. I never meant for it to happen. No, I interrupted, voice hard. You didn't love me. You loved him. And now, everyone knows what you really are. She turned away, but I stopped her. Don't think you can run from this. Not anymore. I walked away, leaving her in the midst of the chaos she'd caused. The divorce came quickly after that. There was no fighting, no more pretending. The truth was out, and I didn't have to do anything more. I kept full custody of James, and as the months passed, I saw him healing, too. He didn't need to see his mother's lies anymore. He needed stability. He needed me. And as for Emily? She disappeared from our lives just as quickly as she had entered. I never saw her again. I wasn't sure when it happened, but over time, I realized that I had one. Not just the divorce, not just the revenge. I had won back my life. The life I thought was lost. I was stronger, wiser, and more whole than I had been before. I had been a fool once. But I wasn't a fool anymore. Sometimes, you have to lose everything to see what was really yours all along.